Like we have 7 weeks left.
Aaron and Lisa are back. When you first met them, they were just beginning their journey. And now they're just weeks away from meeting their baby, who's being carried by Claire, the same surrogate who carried their daughter. This time, they're preparing for delivery day as parents with a 5-year-old at home and a new set of decisions to navigate with the benefit of experience.
And I know the question was, who's going to go in the OR with Claire? Are you okay with that being her husband, or do you want it to be the mom of the baby?
Of course, you're excited to meet your baby, but making that day as smooth as possible starts with preparing for the decisions ahead of time.
Just making sure expectations are set around that is something that just helps it go more smoothly.
In this episode, you'll learn what changes the second time through surrogacy, the key delivery day decisions to prepare for, and how to set expectations before you ever get to the hospital. Because even when you've done this before, delivery day can still surprise you. I really am so excited to get back with you guys because the last time we met, it was like maybe a couple weeks away from the anatomy scan and the gender reveal and, just all of that. And now here we are in the third trimester. Aaron, you said 7 weeks away. So I would love to just go back in time a little bit and take me to walk me into anatomy scan day. What was going through your mind? How are things?
It's so interesting. The anatomy scan is such a big deal because you can see so much detail, and I don't know, it becomes very real in that moment, I feel like. And I don't know, because Emmy was so long ago, I didn't realize we would get the 4D pictures that we did on that day. And so it was the first time we could really start to see his little face. And it kind of made everything more real for me. So I think there was a big moment of excitement there. And then obviously the health component too, they check the heart, they check all of the internal organs, they just make sure everything looks good. And so you get a little extra reassurance as well.
Yeah. I think everybody holds their breath throughout a journey. Was there a moment where you kind of could really just exhale and just enjoy?
For me, I've had so much faith through this journey. I haven't felt, I think it's been over 6 years since we have had a miscarriage, I think, at this point. And I don't know, I've just had so much more comfort with this journey that it's, that everything was going to go well. So I didn't have that, but I know that feeling you're talking about. And I think I had that in Emmy's journey just because of all the consecutive losses. They were so recent. You're just like, is this going to work? And I didn't feel that here. Certainly got a lot more excited after that, the anatomy scan, because you do have that reassurance, but I wasn't holding out hope this time around. So
yeah.
Well, thank goodness you had all that faith and hope. For me, I was like, okay, I see everything. How's the heart? The heart's good. The legs are growing. He's got 5 fingers, 5 toes, and 10 and 10, right? 5 on each hand.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, I was like, so everything's good, right? There's no issues, no complications. And the doctor was like, nope, he's healthy and growing. So I was like, at that point, I felt really good. Still, even to the day with the pictures, I'm like, what's wrapped around his neck? Is that the umbilical cord? Is he good? We got 7 more weeks. So it's still, until we can physically hold him, that's when I would be at ease all the way. So.
And that kind of describes our parenting relationship. I feel like Erin's definitely always worried about Emerson, and I'm just kind of like, she's gonna figure it out. She's gonna learn.
I think something that was so special, and you've already kind of alluded to it there, Erin, but Claire was the one to keep the gender a secret, and then you guys had a beautiful reveal party. I would love for you to just tell us about that day.
Oh, it was so fun. It was honestly, I think what has made this so cool, the first time around, it was kind of about us becoming parents. And this time around, it's just all about Emerson becoming a sibling. We are so excited to have this baby, but we really tailored it to her. It was Claire's idea to do this ice cream cone pop. And so, there was so much excitement, and we all guessed wrong. We definitely thought it was going to be a little girl, so that was kind of funny too. And I think it actually made it that much more fun because it was a true, real surprise. And Emerson getting to pop the balloon with us and just be part of that. And she had said, I want a baby sister, So we were a little nervous, and she just was so excited. And I think that was also really nice to see. You never know what kids' reactions are going to be.
Yeah, it was super cute. I gotta hold Emmy while she got to pop the balloon. So it's exciting. She's such a caring heart, and like she
Mm.
loves everything and everybody. So she's going to be the best big sister. So super excited to see how she reacts when he's here, and if she's like, I don't want him anymore, like put him back. So
What went through y'all's mind when that confetti went off? I know you said it was like this was a true surprise, and I know Emmy's reaction was really what we're all looking at. But what were you guys thinking when all of a sudden that blue confetti just comes down?
I was in shock. I just thought I did, obviously, as a parent, like, you don't have a preference. You want a healthy baby.
Yeah.
I just thought it was going to be a girl. And then in that moment, I was so excited because now we would get to have a journey with the daughter and a son. So I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
how cool, one of each. And I again trust the process. I was like, Emmy needs to be daddy's only girl. Like, that's just it. That's why we couldn't have a
yeah,
sister. And so she'll have I have a brother as well. It's awesome. My mom had a younger brother with a similar age gap too, and it's a sweet relationship. I had so many people
Mm-hmm.
reach out after that were like, it's, it'll be her little brother, but as they get older, he'll be her protector too. And so, a lot of shock, but just a lot of excitement. So
Yeah.
yeah. And for me, it was just make sure you stayed in the same place when you pop the balloon and don't run away in shock, because that's what I did with Emerson. Lisa's
yeah,
trying to give me a hug, and
in
I'm
our
just like,
first
oh my
gender
god.
reveal, I was going for a hug and he just ran in shock. And so I was kind of just left standing there. Um,
So this time we embraced in a hug, and it was super exciting. And Emmy loved it. I think she loved the fact that all the confetti came out, and then there was blue silly string that we got sprayed with. So she bypassed, what it was, and just had all the fun with the silly string and confetti. But it was
For
super.
sure.
It was a surreal moment, just knowing that now we're going to have kind of what the American dream is, right? One of each, a boy and a girl, and a family. So super excited.
Mm. Has there been anything surprising that for you guys as Emmy has just been processing, all of this?
I don't know if it's been surprising. I don't think I've been surprised by anything, but it's just been really sweet. I just, we went out to
Mm.
dinner last night even, and she was out playing on this little green space. And I go out there to check on her, and she's telling another family about her brother. And so, like, just that pride is just so sweet. She definitely is very opinionated on name. And so she's got some names she throws out there. And I don't know that
Mm.
she's going to get the final call. So that might be a surprise for her.
No, I mean that she's super excited. I mean, obviously we started trying to transition her room upstairs to her big girl room, so that's been fun. Kind of, working her through the process, nice and slow. I mean, we're still a little
Yeah.
behind schedule, and we've got to hurry up. It's 7 weeks, so
Yeah, we
we
haven't
did.
Yeah,
started the
you're counting
nursery
down for
yet.
sure.
Because we were like, okay, in order to get the nursery done, we got to migrate her to another room. And so, yeah, it's been a process, but she's actually
Yeah.
been spending the night upstairs. We don't have any more bedrooms downstairs, and baby's going to stay down with us. And so, just getting her slowly adjusted, because we wanted that to feel very special for her. You're not getting kicked out, you're growing up. And so,
Mhm.
we've been getting her adjusted to that. And that's been sweet too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna ask, how has, just having Emmy changed how you guys are preparing for, new baby coming home, practically and then emotionally? I know we're talking about rooms. Like, how has all that been?
I think a lot easier this go round because obviously
Mm-hmm.
we're not learning the whole parent thing, and a lot less prep, honestly, because I think in retrospect, and I hear you, like, a lot of moms say this, but you don't need as much as you thought you did.
Sure.
I think the thing I was shocked about is how short you would use things for. You thought you needed that one thing, and they use it for 6 weeks, and then they don't really need it. And so we're probably doing a little bit less preparation. Obviously, we're going to set up the nursery and everything. But I think it feels so much more natural this time, and there's so much more confidence
Mm.
you have as a parent. And so we are going to do a small sprinkle and get a few things, obviously, that we don't have from having a little girl, mostly
Sure.
clothes. But um, yeah, probably a little less preparation, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already know what's coming, so we're ready, right? I mean, for me, it was a long time until I had a little one with Emerson, and this time I feel like we're pros now. We know, we might have to put the locks back on the doors, but we still got a little time before he starts crawling. We'll have to
Sure.
put all those locks back on and all the safety mechanisms. But no, I think we're ready. We're ready to just bring them home and start growing our family.
I love it. I love it. I remember I was talking to another a first time mom, and she was talking about packing up her car, and she said something like, "I think I even brought like the exosaucer with us," which a newborn's not using that.
Yeah. You just don't know though. You get
just
so
don't
much
know.
stuff. And I'm like, some of the stuff we might need, but yeah, that's like at 1 or 2. Like we don't need that right now.
Sure.
So yeah, totally get
Sure,
that.
exactly, exactly. Like the safety, having all of those like things on there, like baby's just going to be there for a little while. We got time. We got time. Now that you are officially in the third trimester, does the anticipation feel different this time around?
It's a good question. I can't remember if I can. I feel like it's probably the same. It does. I feel like it ramps up a lot towards the end. Like something hit me about 4 weeks ago that like this is real. This is happening very quickly, and the weeks are just going like this. And
Yeah.
I don't know. The excitement level just goes up because they're coming home soon. Obviously with the surrogacy journey, they're not in your belly. You can't feel the kicks and all of that. We get to see Claire on occasion, but yeah, I don't know. It's gotten very real. I just felt really giddy probably about 4 weeks ago and have been feeling that since. And then obviously getting the photos today from the ultrasound. Yeah, you're kind of impatient, but I know it'll pass quickly. So,
Well, I think for me, it, I mean, I can't speak from a woman's point of view of carrying the baby, but I feel like we just started this journey and like we have 7 weeks left. Like I told Lisa, like last week, I'm like, how did this go by so fast? Like I feel like with Emerson, like obviously we went through COVID with Emerson and everything, and it just seemed like it took forever because we were hoping that this one would work out and nothing would be wrong or any issues. But for this one, I'm like, oh, okay, we're 15 weeks, then it's like 28 weeks, and it's 33 weeks, and you're like, when did it happen? Like, how fast is this flown by? So
Yeah.
it
I
does
think
feel a lot faster. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
I think we're excited to go. I mean, work has been busy, so I think we're trying to plan like, okay, is this baby coming this time or
Mm-hmm.
is it a week before? We have some travel in between too, so it's just trying to plan, but there's no planning. He's going to come when he's ready, and but we're ready. I mean, 7 weeks out,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah, I think it goes a lot faster because we're managing a 5-year-old too.
Yeah,
Like we're trying to pick out kindergarten right now. We're graduating from pre-K. Yes, mom and dad both started new jobs. Everything about this, and I think it's just it's the second go around versus the first, where
Mm-hmm.
everything feels longer the first time you do something, and so it has
yeah,
been really shockingly fast.
Yeah. Well, life just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
Hey, real quick, before we keep going, what if your story is about more than just the outcome? April 19th through the 25th is National Infertility Awareness Week, a movement to change the conversation around infertility, break down misinformation, and remind people they are not alone. This year's theme is more than. So every day that week, we're releasing a new episode exploring each day's theme, plus our full episode on Wednesday. If you want to learn more about NIAW, head to infertilityawareness.org. And make sure you subscribe to Create a Happy Family wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a single episode. All right, back to the conversation. For someone who has never gone through this before, or they're just at the beginning of their journey, what kinds of things do you feel like are just conversations to have before delivery day? What kinds of conversations are so important around this time?
Yeah, I think just expectations. Yeah, I think for me, I think a lot of like what happens at the hospital. What does that look like? Who's in the
Yeah.
room? What if you can only, when Emmy came, it was during COVID, so we were very limited on who could even be at the hospital, if you could be in the room. But just making sure you have alignment there, because I think it obviously birth doesn't always go as planned, and so, Emmy's was an emergency C-section, and so you have moments to make key decisions, and so just making sure you understand who's going to be in the room, and also like just what it looks like thereafter. If they're going to meet the baby, are you going to spend time in their hospital room? Will they come and see you? What does that look like? Even in the weeks after, if you want to spend time with your surrogate and their family or not. I think just making sure expectations are set around all of that is something that just helps it go more smoothly.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of just thinking about, you said emergency C-section, birth doesn't always go as planned, thinking about who's in the room. How do you balance honoring a surrogate's birth, or in y'all's case, Claire's birth experience, while also stepping into your role as the parents in that moment?
Yeah, I think we try to be. I know for our experience, like we always want to be very sensitive to like what her body's
Mhm.
going through, and naturally like what
Yeah.
hormones you have, and also she is such a special part of our journey. We couldn't have done this without her, and she has such a special place, right? Like we're not family, but it's not quite friend. It's this very special, unique bond, and so
Mm.
like for us, we absolutely wanted to go to her room and make sure she had time with the baby. And we wanted to take family photos together. We wanted, even her husband to hold the baby and her kids to, met Emerson, I think probably like a week after. I can't
Yeah.
remember if it was in the hospital or not actually. But for us, all of that was very important. And it's just a
Mm.
moment of celebration of the entire journey. And so like not including them for us wouldn't have, that just wouldn't have been our way to go about it. And so yeah, we just kind of treated it as a celebration for both families and kept them pretty involved in all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Erin? I know a lot of dads are always worried about where they stand.
I think the most important thing is, even from the beginning journey, when you're meeting whoever the surrogate is going to be, is just have an open dialogue in the beginning
Yeah.
of the expectations. I think with our journey with Claire, like we've known them through friends for many years, so it's a unique situation for us where we
Mhm.
feel comfortable, and obviously this is the second go around, so we feel extremely comfortable. But when it comes to the birthing side of things, yeah, I mean, this is, even though you're paying in essence for a service, Claire and any surrogate is going through so much body, emotionally, spiritually. Like I couldn't imagine, and Lisa and I talked about this before, giving birth to a baby and then handing the baby off and then your job is done type of thing. So we try to implement that and bring that to Claire too. Like, hey, thank you so much. Like we couldn't do this without you. You
Mm.
know, look at what you brought into this world for us, and hold the baby, and Aaron holds the baby as well and stuff. So we want them to be a part of that journey as well, not just you know, the pregnancy portion.
Yeah.
Without them, on both sides, especially Claire, this wouldn't be possible. So.
Hmm. Looking back, and I know Emmy's was unique in, because it was during COVID, but was there anything that you were especially grateful for that you clarified ahead of time in terms of the birth plan?
I think, well, one of the things we talked about that I don't know, it's funny that your memory just kind of goes out the window. I'm like, I don't remember what I put in Emmy's birth plan,
Oh,
but I remember when
100%.
we were like rushed into the OR. We got to the hospital, and I think it felt like within 2 minutes of being there, they kind of threw us the OR garb and we're like, get in the room, babies get coming out. And I
Yeah.
know the question was, who's going to go in the OR with Claire? Are you okay with that being her husband, or do you want it to be the mom of the baby? And we both kind of immediately knew. And you're figuring out in real time. I don't even remember what was on the birth plan, but Erin and I wanted to be together. We were very nervous because she was losing oxygen, like what the outcome was going to be when she came out. And I think we wanted to be together. We wanted Claire to be with her husband. And so but I remember kind of making that decision in that moment and talking about that. And so I think we put that down, that was the preference again. And
No, I
um,
think if it becomes a natural birth, I think the plan obviously would be, if we're both able to be in there, that's great. But obviously, for all men that listen to this, just let your wife be in there. So Lisa
Mm.
would be in there, with Claire. And obviously, I think any surrogate's husband needs to be a part of that and in there for support. So I think for us, that was just a given. Either one of those options, natural or a C-section. So
yeah,
her husband should be in there for sure.
yeah, making sure she had that support. And then even we didn't know it was going to be a C-section, obviously, and so knowing her physical recovery was going to be probably a little bit harder. Like going to her room, bringing the baby to her, making sure
Mhm.
that we were kind of just kind of being tuned in with that, making sure she got to see the baby. And again, I think just making sure we're thinking about the other family just as much as, yes, we're excited and we're kind of in our room and we're in that sweet, space, but she's over there in recovery, just got out of surgery. And so I think we were just trying to be mindful of that. And so those are some of the specifics that I remember that we were like, we liked how all of that worked. And I think it felt good, I think on both sides. And so,
Yeah.
Well, and again, I mean, I know y'all's relationship is unique because you did have a little bit of, a connection prior, but obviously throughout the journey with Emmy, you guys had built such a trust and such a bond that those things felt natural. It didn't feel like oh, I have to check this box. It
Yeah.
was like, no, we want to, I mean, you said it, Lisa, we want to celebrate because we couldn't have done this without all of these people. And let's get, the big family photo and, just all of those things. What do you think might surprise intended parents about how emotional delivery day can be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's emotional. Like, I mean,
Just period.
I mean, it's emotional. I mean, it depends. I think it's going to be emotional either way, right? I don't think it changes whether it's your first, second, or third. It's an exciting day. It's a long journey to get to this point. 9 months is a long time, and obviously, if you're going through surrogacy, it's longer than that. So, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, obviously with Emerson, we didn't know what was happening. So when you get a phone call like you guys need to come now, we're like, that's a roller coaster emotion of journey.
Yeah.
This one, hopefully, it doesn't go that way, and it's kind of like, hey, this is the day, this is what we're looking. So just leading up to it, I mean, it's just more of an excitement than anything. I mean, that's the journey we're on. It's just excitement. And hopefully we don't get a call like you need to be here in the next 10 minutes. So
Yeah, I think like as a new parent, I think going in, you're so excited that they're going to be here. Like when I think of the baby being born, I'm like, okay, they're finally here. But you forget about like the labor and delivery part, because I haven't physically ever been through that, and it kind of what Aaron said. Like with Emmy, it was actually a little bit stressful, and so it's kind of this, it can be a little anxiety inducing, and just not knowing, again, the drive to the hospital on that one, we didn't really know what was happening. We got in there, it was a little chaotic. And so, and then sometimes that doesn't happen either. And so you just kind of don't know what you're in for. It can be kind of a wild day, but then once they're there, I think just, the bliss and awe and amazement is amazing. And I think you're just kind of on cloud nine, and you just, I don't know, to your point, like we very much naturally felt like we wanted to celebrate this moment and just share Emmy. And this was such an amazing journey. And so,
and I think now that the emotions really that we've thought about is, what are we going to do with Emmy? Like, is she going to come to the hospital, stay there with us because we don't have family here? Are we going to find someone to watch her for a little bit? Am I leaving the hospital, one night and going with her back home? So I think that's the new, probably emotion and, figuring out what we're doing. So
sure. The new logistical fun.
Yes.
I mean, do they have like a daycare to drop off in the hospital? You can just drop them off.
They sure don't.
They sure don't. They sure don't.
So
when you guys are picturing bringing home baby boy, what image comes to mind?
Oh, this is easy.
Oh, well, then you go.
Walking in the front door and the dogs are going crazy, jumping up, and Emerson is wanting to help and hold the baby and carry the stuff in. I think it's just going to be chaotic in there.
Yes.
So, trying to get the dogs to just like smell something new and see something new. And I think obviously for me, it's all protection, like back up, back up. But that's what I see when we go home. These dogs are going to go crazy.
Aaron's right on the dogs. I was asking Emmy yesterday, like your dogs, obviously they loved Emmy as a baby and would lay next to her, and they're so sweet. I think the biggest thing that I had a few friends tell me before we brought Emmy home is you kind of think, I'm becoming a parent, my whole life is going to change. And it does, but those first few months are pretty quiet. And I remember they were like, you're just going to put them home like on the kitchen counter in their car carrier, and they just kind of sleep. And I remember just like the house was so much more peaceful than I thought. And it wasn't as immediately chaotic. Like for my experience anyways, like when she was a toddler and we're running around and we're, spilling things and we're doing tantrum, but as the newborn phase, it was very peaceful. And so I actually think it will be a little bit quiet, but I was thinking too, like, I think Emmy is hoping to have a playmate like from day one. And it's like, baby's not going to be quite there for a little bit. So I could see her getting, I think she's going to want to do snuggles and help, just feed him and help him get down for sleep, but also maybe be a little bit like, hey, you can't play with me yet. So
Yeah.
I remember that with my eldest. I was like, do you want, we have this great picture of her. She's like sitting there holding the bottle, but she's watching TV. And so like the bottle's like laying like awkwardly like in the baby's like eyeball and like just has no care as to, feeding them. She's like, I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good in the beginning. Like it'll be new and fun for her, but she's just like any 5-year-old. They're gonna be like, okay, next, let me go do this. So I think for me and even for Lisa, and Lisa, you could speak on this, but for me, I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm really intentional on giving Emerson some time as well, and not just focusing on the baby where she feels left out. So I think it's gonna be those type of mental roadblocks that you automatically will go to a newborn and try to make sure that he's being fed, he's clean, he's there's no issues. And involving her more in everything that we do with the baby, so she feels like she's helping and a part of it.
Totally. Yeah. The intentionality is big.
Yeah.
Because we've talked a little bit about like, parenting siblings and how like we don't want there to be rivalry. And I do think you have to be so intentional to make them both feel special, not just now, but as they get older. And so, we're pretty good at, taking Emmy on little one-on-one parent dates now and again. And so just making sure that all of that stays and that she's very included, I think will be an important part of navigating that.
Yeah. Well, and it's just a whole new level to what you're, already experiencing now, exactly like you said, it's that new classic, like, okay, we're bringing home another baby and all of the parenting that comes with just navigating that.
Yeah.
What are you most excited for Emmy to experience, when she is meeting little brother and just looking at, because I know you said before that it's been so fun to see her and her relationship with Claire and how that relates to her. And now she gets to witness a delivery day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that in and of itself is so special. I was rewatching the video the other day where we walked her into the facility where the transfer happened and like walking her through that. And so this again, I think just kind of full circle for her story of what that looks like. And obviously she's young, but we'll have photo and video memory of this. So I think it's really neat. I think she is just she's such like a people connect. She thrives off of connectivity with other people in a way that I think is unique. I was very much a shy, introverted child. Like she loves family time, and it's so special. And even like her grandparents pick up on that. And I think she talks about her cousins nonstop and just always wants to be around people. We give her an option every year for her birthday. Do you want to take a trip or do you want to have a party with? I want all my friends and family coming to my house. And so she's very much loves that. And so I think I'm just excited to watch her little heart's just going to burst. I think having this other family member that is a kiddo and then just getting to do things together where she's not the only kid, I think is going to be really special. And a lot of times we'll hang out with friends that have, 2 kids and she always fits right into the pack. But I think for her to have her own, I'm just so excited to see that. And I think it's going to fill her heart.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. How has it been as the relationship has evolved with you guys and Claire and her family this time around, and now as delivery day approaches, and just the dynamic with Emmy and just all of that? What has that evolution looked like?
It feels so much more comfortable this time. I think we're all just, first of all, we're like older, more mature. We've done this, so we have some confidence. I think, and we're parents now. So I think even, they're obviously a busy family with 3 kiddos. We only have the one. We also feel really busy, but I think, I don't know, it feels comfortable in a really lovely way. Like there is a lot of trust. I think there's just a lot of grace and just fair expectations of each other. And I think, it feels really nice. I think we just love them as a family and as, people. And I think that's just really special. It's a treat. We get to see them every weekend at church, which is kind of a nice treat in addition to doctor's appointments or just kind of making time outside of that. Erin actually got to go to a daddy-daughter dance with Claire's husband and Mallory and Emerson. And like, like it doesn't get any sweeter than that. And so they're also wonderful people that we like having in our life. And so I think it's just, it's been sweet getting to do this again.
I love that. If your son listens to this one day, what would you want him to know about how he was prepared for?
Gosh,
Ask your sister.
Ask your sister.
I love that too, though, that they both have the same journey with the same person, so they'll have that common bond.
Yeah.
So there's not well, I came out of mommy's belly and you came out of someone else's belly. Like it's the same bond, the same journey. So I do like that. I think it's the same. I mean, you were prayed for, you were thought of, you were loved. It was intentional, and I mean that's it. You're gonna continue to be loved. So I mean, you were placed here by God, through prayers and families and miracles. So
yeah, the intentionality. I think this baby has been so prayed for, and I do. I mean, obviously we are. I don't know. I just have so much trust in the process, like that it was supposed to be a boy, that Emmy needed this brother, and it feels like a very purpose-driven journey that's intentional. And yeah, we know God's hands at work in all of this, and he's just loved so unconditionally already, and his family is so eager to meet him and just kind of get to live our life together and get to be a family for now and through eternity. So it's so cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, I'm so grateful that you guys, took the time to come back and just share, where you guys are in this stage. 7 weeks. We're almost there. Cannot believe it. My last question for you guys, it's coming. As we know, Whitney and coffee, we are not far from one another. And so I always want to ask, what has filled your cup today, literally or figuratively?
Iced hazelnut oat milk shake and espresso.
She was ready with that.
and these little ultrasound photos, man. These 4D ultrasound have me all in my feels today for this little baby. Yeah. He's just getting to see the little face. He's this close, so we cannot wait to meet him.
No, that's exactly what it was for me too. Morning, cup of Joe, and then seeing those photos.
I mean, yeah, those photos are just gorgeous. And I mean, it's so fun to just have that. And I mean, again, like I'm so excited for you guys as you head into just these final weeks. We are cheering you on. I cannot wait to just see Emmy's reaction. Like that is going to be the best part for sure. But, truly, thank you guys so much for just continuing to share your story, because I know, it gives so many parents just such hope, and is something that, I know can just be a helpful guide as you guys are going through this. So thank you guys so much. We are definitely counting down the days with you for sure.